let's start with the topic for the day. So I'm going to cover DMVPN, one of the NRC module topic. Okay, so we are pretty much done here. Also NRC, the lot of topics have been done. Just might be one or two topics that's left. Okay, so this DMVPN I wanted to cover along with MPLS. Okay, which was just a theory. But the topic for DMVPN itself is so vast that it will take the whole class. Okay. Yes, it's very simplified. It looks very uh, selective topics that the Cisco has decided for DMVPN in CCNP, but it's going to take a lot of time to cover each and every topic, and if we are doing a lab, it's going to take some time. Okay, and it's just a single hub in the sense, if I say I have single server which connects to multiple client, let's say client 1 and client 2. Okay, so this is the one which Cisco wants you guys to know. But we can also place two servers, server 1 and server 2, and this connects to client 1, client 2, and similar way this connects to client 1 and client 2 for a redundancy basis, which we don't have in the CCNP level. Okay, so what all VPNs did we cover so far? So we covered first IPsec, which is site to site. We also covered something called as GRE tunnel. Okay, and we know how they perform. So basically, if you wanna connect two sites or two data center or two campus over on internet, campus 2, so we just make use of a public IP on both the sides. So we need a public IP here, we need a public IP over here. We build a secure tunnel over on ICAKMP and IPsec layer. Okay, and we can just pass on our LAN traffic over this tunnel, which has been received on the second campus. Okay, so that's IPsec site to site. We are the packets which are moving inside or which is moving out over the internet will be secured with IPsec security. Okay, later on we saw something called as GRE. GRE is point to point in nature. It also require public IP. Okay, we are not going to use GRE for the enterprise site to site traffic because they have a bulky header size. Okay, so when you have a bulky header size, the data will shrink. So let's say if you had to send 100 data packets over on IPsec, now with the help of GRE, the same 100 would have been 200 now, because the data gets fragmented into smaller bits and each data will be added up with the GRE header. Okay, so basically GRE header is bulkier, which makes the data shrink. Now today we are gonna check DMVPN. Okay, if you just talk from these two point of view, IPsec is when you have two site in point to point connection. There is no third site. So you just need, so let's say in the case of site to site, you have one campus here and second campus here. So your tunnel is just point to point. What if you wanna bring another campus? You have to lay another connection or another point to point connection, right? What about the traffic flow? The traffic should come to this, and from here the traffic should come to the campus number 2, right? So there are a lot of limitation. You need public IP, they are not scalable. You need a lot of VPNs between site to site, right? In terms of GRE, once again they make use of public IP. They are point to point in nature, and the header is bulkier. Okay, so we see a lot of scope in DM VPN. In case of DM VPN, the concept is simple. Let's say if I have enterprise 1 and I have my campus 1 and campus 2. Okay, so in the case of DM VPN, they form hub and spoke relation. So this act as hub, these two act as spoke. So this is spoke 1 and this is spoke 2. Okay, now you might be wondering, this is something looking like IPsec tunnel, but they are not. Okay, the reason is DM VPN works on concept of overlay and underlay. That means you will be having the tunnel over on ISP, which needs public IP. So let's say 1.1.1.1, 2.2.2.2. Okay, let's say over here I have the same terminating interface, so 1.1.1.1 and 3.3.3, but my traffic is not moving on public IP. My traffic will be carried on a tunnel interface, tunnel 0. Let's say I also have that tunnel 0 here and tunnel 0 here. Now these tunnel works on private IP 192.168.1.1. Similar way, this works on 192.168.1.2 and this works on 192.168.1.3. Okay, now the traffic will move over on this private network. Okay, what about spoke to spoke connection? Can there be a direct connection between spoke to spoke in the case of DM VPN, or the spoke one has to send once again to hub and hub has to send it to spoke 2, right, which we saw in the IPsec. But in the case of DM VPN, we don't have to rely on hub. Instead, we can directly talk to each other. The spoke 1 can talk to spoke 2 as well. Okay, this is happening uh, because of the uh, feature called as multiple GRE, which is also written as MGRE. Okay, so you know what is GRE. GRE is point to point. So let me walk through all this technology. Okay, so let's start with multi-point, but before that I want to show you some of the components that is used in DM VPN. Okay, so the first one is multiple GRE, which is used here. So multiple GRE is nothing but multiple destinations. So from hub point of view, how many destination you have right now? So you have spoke 1, you have spoke 2, you can also connect one more destination called as spoke 3. Okay, over on GRE tunnel. But if you know the concept of GRE tunnel was just point to point. But MGRE is multiple destination GRE, which lets you to create multiple destination over on MGRE technology. So this is the technology we use in DM VPN. Now, what is the second important thing that's required? So uh, let's say when I say that spoke 1 can communicate to spoke 2 irrespective of hub, right? So let's say if spoke 1 is sending some traffic to spoke 2, when it's received here on hub might have changed, or hub has to make the decision how to send that, right? So basically hub must know who is the next person. So hub, I can say that hub is going to make use of next hop resolution protocol. In short, we also call it as NHRP. So this is the protocol which will help the traffic coming from spoke 1 to move towards spoke 2. So basically hub has to be activated with this protocol. What else do we need? We need routing protocol. Where do we need routing protocol? Let's say these are campus network whose private networks are 192, 168.3.1 series. Okay, and the private network here is 192.168, let's say 10.0/24. Now if this user wants to communicate to the users belonging to this campus, so we need to have some sorts of routing enabled here. All your routing protocols like RIP, OSPF, EIGRP, BGP, they are all gonna be participating. Okay, so you can see in your enterprise where they adopt DMVPN, might be with OSPF. Okay, or some enterprise prefer DMVPN with EIGRP. So this is possible. Okay, you don't need all the protocol. All the IGP protocol is not required with DMVPN. You can have one straightforward IGP protocol with DMVPN. Okay, so we need a protocol here, which is important in case spoke 1 wants to communicate to spoke 2. So the hub has to communicate between these two networks, otherwise your packet will drop in the first point. Okay, what about the other component? So the last component here is optional, and what is it going to be? It's your IPsec security. Okay, IPsec with DMVPN, because DMVPN is over on private IP. Okay, and it's over on cloud, so it's better you secure your data. So we can add the IPsec concept. We can configure the ICA KMP features. We can also enable the IPsec feature. So as usual, we can see the phase 1 coming up, we can see phase 2 coming up. The routed packets will be sent over on the underlay on a private tunnel, okay, over on cloud. So this is a overview of DMVPN. Since we are interacting with multiple components, so each component has its own uh, theoretical points. Okay, so that's why this topic would be taking up complete one class. Okay, so otherwise the concept, we if the concept was less, we could have just made it up in 1 hour or might be half an hour, but since there are a lot of concept, so we have to check each and everything. Okay, so from overview point of view, those are the 4 components of DMVPN which you will see in the enterprise. Okay, the behavior of DMVPN is they are on a private tunnel, private IPs are used. We can see spoke 1 communicating over hub to spoke 2, but yes, spoke 1 can also directly speak to spoke 2 as well. Okay, that will be covered in phases. We have 3 phases in DMVPN. We call it as phase 1, 2 and 3, and each phase has its own benefits. Okay, so let's start with the basics of DMVPN components. Okay, so the first component in DMVPN, I said it's MGRE, which is called as multi-point GRE. Okay, so let's say I have my headquarter which is connected towards to ISP, and then I have a small branches. So each branches I can name it as like campus 1, campus 2 and campus 3. Okay, so what would the normal GRE tunnel, if let's say if I was making a normal GRE tunnel, how would this look like? So basically I would have to configure a point to point GRE tunnel, okay, between every site. So my structure would look something like this, and if the campus wants to talk to each other, then there would have been one more dedicated GRE tunnel, something like this. So this is in the case of GRE tunnel. If I went with GRE tunnel, don't confuse with multiple and the normal GRE. They work differently. Okay, this is the DMVPN component. this is not a DMVPN component. Okay, this was used in those ATMs and frame relays. Okay, we don't use widely GRE. So this would have been the condition if I went with GRE. But with the help of MGRE, okay, as the name suggests, MGRE, multiple destination. Okay, it lets me a benefit of configuring to multiple destination irrespective of single destination. If I draw the same diagram now, if I have HQ connecting to ISP, and from ISP I have campus 1, campus 2, campus 3. Okay, in the case of multiple destination, let's say this is my server. So I have a MGRE, I am going to have this MGRE, and I am going to have the MGRE. Okay, so this is how the MGRE works. One single hub can connect to all or multiple spokes. Okay, that's why we have this as the basic component of DMVPN, dynamic multiple VPN, virtual private network. Okay, so the full form is dynamic multi-point virtual private network. Okay, why do I call dynamic? The reason is we have multiple destination and we are gonna run the dynamic protocol. Okay, so all this makes DMVPN widely used. We don't need to have a multiple individual VPNs in this scenarios. Okay, now if you might be wondering, how about spoke to spoke, spoke 1 to spoke 2 and spoke 2 to spoke 3? Will the traffic will come to hub every time? So no, we don't. So we can configure this tunnel. Okay, so this tunnel automatically gets created up. It automatically gets created up. Okay, so these are the GRE tunnels. They are GRE tunnels. And whereas this is MGRE tunnel. Okay, they will automatically come up. Okay, now let's say in terms of MGRE, there can be one issue. The issue is, let's say this is my headquarter is connecting to the ISP, and then I got 2 branch offices. Okay, we all know that these are public IPs. Okay, and over on this public IP, I am going to build my overlay. And that overlay will be on a private series. Okay, now let's say when branch 1 wanna send something to branch 2. Okay, if the traffic wanna go to branch 2, now you know that you directly cannot send this. The first copy will go to the headquarter, because headquarter act as a server, and server know where are these spokes connected. The spoke will never know where is the second spoke connected and what is the routing for that spoke to reach. So spoke 1 has to send the send the information or forward the packets to server, and then server or the hub will respond back. Whether it can respond, it can send the traffic on behalf of spoke 1, or it can notify spoke 1 that to reach spoke 2 you can go via this, and the spoke 1 will build the GRE tunnel. So that's coming under phases. Okay, but from general point of view, what would be the packet structure? So packet structure from B1 to B2 would look like something this way. So the source header would be 2.2.2.2. Okay, destination is unknown because spoke 1 doesn't know what is the destination public IP. Okay, you're gonna add your GRE encapsulation. What about the private segment or the private? So you know that it's, let's say if this is 1.2, 1.3 and this is 1.1. So source is originating from 192.168 1.2. The destination is the tunnel IP, so which is 192.168 1.3. Okay, and then the data. Now the issue is exactly over here. What is the destination IP? Because when your packet is being sent to the hub is gonna see the public IP, right? It will check which is that public IP, but it is clueless. It doesn't know where it has to send, because there can be multiple other routers as well or other spokes as well. Spoke 3, spoke 4, right? So how is the destination public IP uh, gonna be looked upon or looked up? Okay, so to solve this issue, GRE make use of the second component, which is called as NHRP. Okay, the full form of NHRP is Next Hop Resolution Protocol. Okay, in short, if I tell, if this is a hub and if a hub is gonna maintain certain table where the private IPs 192.168.1.1 is mapped with 1.1.1, the public IP. Similar way, 192.168.1.2, the private IP is being mapped with 2.2.2. Let's say if you create this kind of table and put in the hub, now this can be looked out or this can be looked up, right? So the traffic which is trying to enter hub with this information, it can quickly see the table. It can say that 192.168 1.3 is mapped with this public IP, and immediately this will be put up here and the packet will be sent to the rightful spoke. That's the work of NHRP. Okay, so in the case of NHRP, the one router will act as the server. Server is nothing but the hub. The rest of routers will act as spoke, or I can also call it as client. Okay, what kind of packets are sent basically? So we call this packet. So there will be one packet sent to get the resolution, right? So we call that as NHRP, registered request. So basically this is a request made from the spoke asking what is the rightful public IP for this private source. Now the server has to respond back to the spoke. Okay, so that will be called as the resolution reply. Okay, so basically there will be happening three things. Okay, the first thing is the spoke has to register with the hub. So let's say NHSRP registered request. This is a request where all the spokes, spoke 1, spoke 2, spoke 3 has to form registered with the hub. Step number 1. Step number 2 is when spoke wants to communicate with spoke 2. Okay, now the spoke 1 will send this kind of packet asking what is the right private IP behind, what is the right public IP behind this private IP. that will be sent via NHRP resolution request. Okay, so this request is where the spoke is gonna ask that I have this private IP 1.2, what is the public IP for this? Okay, and the step number 3 is when the hub is gonna look its table, an NHRP table, and it's gonna reply back NHRP resolution reply. Okay, and this reply, it's nothing but the private IP would be binded up with so and so public IP. Okay, so this is in the case of, or is this is at the end of the second component. Okay, so so far we can say that there is underlay and overlay concept happening in DMVPN. So basically the underlay is the network where the different routers are connected over on public IP. Okay, and overlay is your tunnel interface, which is on private network. So this is how the DMVPN works. And regards to NHRP, it's pretty older protocol which where the RFC was defined in like 1998. This is also called, or this is also used in non-broadcast multi-access. Okay, NBMA. So if you see, or if you read sometime on DMVPN the word NBMA, don't get confused, they are referring to NHRP itself. Okay, since we don't use this non-broadcast which was used in frame relay X.25, the ATMs, so we don't make use of NBA technology. Non-broadcast, we don't use it. Okay, we usually call NHSRP. So basically this protocol was used inside NBA technologies as well, like ATM, X.25. Okay, since we don't widely use this technology, so you might still see that people are using NBMA word to refer NHRP. Okay, so don't be confused, it's just nothing but they were originally developed for this technology, but now this protocol is also getting used in DMVPN to find out the next hop protocol. Okay, fine. So we know how the spokes get registered to hub, how spoke to spoke gets communicated, how hubs connect to multiple destination spokes, right? Now let's talk from the phase point of view, DMVPN phase. So there are three different phases and each phase works differently than the other. Okay, so let's say in the case of phase 1, when I have a hub connecting to ISP, I have spoke 1 and spoke 2. Okay, let's say I am configuring VPN phase 1 in my enterprise. So as per phase 1, my traffic has to always go via this direction. That means spoke 1 cannot communicate to spoke 2 directly. Okay, spoke 1 has to send the traffic to hub will have the routing protocol enabled, so where we can make use of EIGRP, we can make use of OSPF, either BGP, where we are gonna advertise this network. We can also advertise its own network, we can also advertise its own the network behind spoke 2. Let's say this is 2.2.2, this is 3.3.3.3. Okay, so these all networks we can advertise in the routing protocol. But what is the fundamental of phase 1? The traffic will be sent to the hub will check the routing table and it will send. So I can say that spoke 1 send the traffic to hub and hub is sending to spoke 2. Okay. Now this is really not something we are interested in. We need something where spoke can talk to it, to the next spoke. That can be achievable. Okay, that can be achievable with the help of phase 2. So when I draw the same thing, okay. So in the case of phase 2, what happens is both the spoke first get registered, which we just discussed. They're gonna send the NHRP registered request. Okay. So basically hub will start forming its NHRP table, and this table will talk about the mapping, the private to public. So we will be having multiple entries. So this private associated with this public IP. Okay. So let's say the public here is 2.2.2 and the private there is 192.168.1.1. So this entry will be stored here. Similar way, let's say over here I have 3.3.3.3 and private is 192.1.2. Okay. Now that will be stored here. This is called as catch table. Okay. NHRP catch table. So first step is registration. All your spokes will register with the on hub. The second is when, let's say, the spoke wanna communicate to spoke 2, but you know that spoke 1 doesn't know what is the public IP of spoke 2. So basically spoke 1 is gonna send something called as NHRP resolution request. Okay. And then then the hub is gonna reply back, okay, which is called as NHRP resolution reply. And now the spoke 1 communicates to spoke 2. Okay. So in this case, the spokes will be making use of MGRE concept. Okay. So the spoke has to configure with MGRE so that they can communicate with other spokes as well to have a direct spoke to spoke tunneling. But before achieve that, there will be 3 steps that's happening here. Now what about the phase 3? Okay, when we can achieve spoke to spoke tunneling, why do you think we need phase 3? Because phase 3 is much more advanced. Okay, because here we are relying on HSRP protocol, next hop address resolution. Okay, if this fails here, there is no way we know who is the next person here. We do not know what is uh, the next spoke IP resolution, right? So we depends on next hop. In the case of phase 3, we are excluding all these dependencies. We are not gonna make use of next hop. Okay. So basically what happens here is, in the case of phase 3, spoke 1, spoke 2 and hub. Okay. So in the case of the phase 3, we don't care who is the next hop. We just send some packets first. Okay, so we send some packet, or let's say if S1 wants to communicate to S2. So as usual, since they don't have a direct tunneling, so the request comes to hub. What hub does is, hub will check its table. Okay, it's gonna check its routing table and it will see the request is for a different destination. Okay, so it's not gonna bother about what is the public IP of that. Instead, it's gonna send a NHRP redirect packet. Redirect packet. Okay, it's gonna send a redirect packet to both the spokes. So the same copy will be sent to this, and one of the copy will be sent to the second spoke. Okay, so now what happens is this information will be stored in the local spoke routers, and now they will form the direct tunnels. Okay, so these are how the phases are being configured, and as per the requirement we can go with the phases. Okay.
All right, so we will do the DMVPN lab in the next class. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day. See you.